everybody, welcome to Fort Ross State Historic Park. My name is Sharon Vilnai and I'm an instructor with Fort Ross Conservancy. And one of the wonderful things we normally get to do is invite school groups to come here and travel back in time with us so they get to see what it was like to live here during the period between 1812 and 1842 when the Russian-American Company had set up a settlement here. So this was known as Settlement Ross or Colony Ross in those days. So what we're going to do today is make freshly churned butter the old-fashioned way. And if you have an old churn like this to use, this is a wonderful tool that you can use. And if you pour the cream in here and churn this up for a long time, you'll get some beautiful butter. But a lot of people don't have a churn like this. So we're going to cheat just a little bit, and we're going to use a mason jar. And if you have one of these at home and you just need some heavy whipping cream and you're good to go, these are very easy to find. If you go to the store, a lot of places have mason jars today. So it's really easy to find everything you need to make freshly churned butter. So all I have today is this mason jar and some heavy cream. I obviously didn't get it fresh from the cow. I went to the store and I did another modern cheat. But we're going to use this heavy cream. Just open it up. I'm going to open up my mason jar here. And it's really important that you don't fill this up all the way. I'm just going to fill it up about between a third to half of the way, so I have a lot of space left in my jar. Oop, a little bit of a splash there. All right. Good? Okay. And now, I'm going to close this up. I'm just going to shake. Shake, shake, shake. And I left all that room in this jar so that the cream inside has a lot of space to move around. Because all that splashing around in there, all that agitation of the cream is where the magic happens, where this cream becomes butter. Now, I've heard some people say they can make butter out of cream in about 10 minutes or less. Usually takes me about half an hour. So you gotta get comfortable. If you have a buddy at home or a sibling who can help you, you guys can take turns. And that's a nice thing. Okay, so we've been shaking the butter for about 5 minutes or so now. It's getting thicker, I can feel it. Let's take a look inside, see what's going on here. You can see it's getting nice and thick, but it's not quite ready yet. Still got some more shaking to do. And if you wanted to flavor your butter, you could add a little bit of salt or even some herbs and throw that in and just keep shaking it. But if you like an unsalted butter, just a nice sweet butter, you just leave it as is. So this is the pechka, which is a Russian word for a wood brick oven. We have some herbs from the garden that are drying, and if you wanted to season your butter with some herbs, you could cut your own and dry them like this, and then just toss them in when you're shaking your butter, and then you'll have a nice flavored butter of whatever choice you like, whatever herb you enjoy. So we've been shaking for a few more minutes. Let's see how it looks. You can see the butter forming and the milk there, that's the buttermilk that's coming away from the butter. So I'm just going to shake it for a little bit more, and that's basically it. Let's see. Look at that, beautiful, rich butter. Now we just need some bread. You can have some bread and butter for dinner. Everybody, welcome to the Call House. We have moved a little bit ahead in time after the Russians left and Fort Ross settlement was gone. What we now know as Fort Ross State Historic Park went into the ranch period. And during that period of time, there was the Call family that lived here for about 100 years. And they had a wonderful dairy where they had a number of cows, and they were producing lots of butter that they were sending on ships down to San Francisco to sell in the San Francisco markets. And they would have had a really big churn to make large-scale amounts of butter, but they also have here some smaller examples. So if the family wanted to make up a little bit of butter for themselves, they could have used one of these different churns that you see here. So we got one that might look familiar to you, like we had down in the fort. here's a hand crank, which is quite nice. So just actually put the cream in, like that. And this one here, just give it a nice crank. So all these different churns, it's the same general idea. You're just whipping up that heavy cream and turning it into butter and buttermilk. After you make your butter, if you want to get a little bit fancy, you could use one of these butter molds. Just put your butter in here, and there's a design on the bottom, and that's going to create a design on the top of your butter. This is a really nice tool. It's used to slice the butter. It's very simple, but very handy, because you can get nice even slices of the whole stick of butter. So I would put my butter here and just with a little pressure go down, and presto, I've got evenly sliced pieces of butter. Barbara Black, one of the Call family descendants, wrote a wonderful little book all about the Fort Ross Creamery here in the ranch era. So if you want to learn any more about the Call family's dairy production, I recommend reading this book. We sell it in the bookshop. It's the Fort Ross Creamery, and it's also going to be available online at our digital library at fortross.org.